Allora, buongiorno a tutti, benvenuti al consueto Daily Press Briefing. Oggi è prevista l'assegnazione di 9 medaglie d'oro in 8 discipline con 9 venue di gara coinvolte. Per le competizioni di ieri sono stati venduti 87.000 biglietti con il coinvolgimento di 10 venue di gara e l'assegnazione di 6 medaglie d'oro, una della quale nell'inseguimento a squadre maschile del pattinaggio di velocità alla nazionale italiana, a cui ovviamente vanno i nostri complimenti. Oggi il presidente Malagò del comitato organizzatore e l'amministratore delegato Varnier saranno entrambi a Milano e in giro per le venue. Mark, I leave you the floor.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you very much. I won't give you, I know you always look forward to them, but I won't give you any broadcasting and digital highlights today because we have two guests here who can do it for me. So that's much better to get it from, as we say, from the horse's mouth. I have Anne-Sophie Voumar, who's Managing Director of IOC Television and Marketing Services, as we've been trailing all week, and Yannis Exarchos, CEO of Olympic Broadcasting Services. So two key people for the IOC here today, and I'm going to ask first Anne-Sophie to make some opening remarks, then Yannis, and as ever, we'll take questions on those and on any other topics that you have. So Anne-Sophie, away you go.
Thank you, Mark. Buongiorno a tutti. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, and we will provide you with a quick update on media audiences and fan engagement around the world. It is great to be back here in an iconic Italian backdrop in the heartland of winter sport. I'm sure you all feel the same. We can feel the palpable passion across all venues. I was in Cortina over the weekend, and it was great to see everyone, mixing together, all the athletes and the fans. And really what you can see is that the Olympic Games are stronger than ever. And we see this passion and the fact that the Olympic Games have such a success is absolutely translating into great audiences. And Mark, you've been stealing my thunder a little bit every day in all the press briefings. So it's difficult for me to I want to re-emphasize, the real success that we have here today through our media rights holders and the audiences. We have 24 media rights holders and over 80 sub-licensees that are covering those games and bringing this broadcasting to billions of people across the world on all possible platforms. And what we hear from them, and I was even with them yesterday, all of them together, and really what they're telling us that is those games are exceeding their expectations, whichever part of the world, even in the time zones that are maybe a little bit more complicated for them. So what we are witnessing is fantastic audience across the world. We have plenty of information. My team can provide you if you need any specific information for a specific country, but I just wanted to highlight a few of them which I thought were really very important to highlight. First, Italy, our gracious host. I think we see a lot of passion from the Italians, and as of the latest information we have is that over 2 out of 3 Italians have at this point watched the coverage of the games. It's still ongoing, so we expect those numbers to be even rising. So this is actually higher already than the Paris 2024 Summer Games, so great audiences for Italy. And Italians, we here have watched more coverage of the Milano-Cortina 2026 Games, more than the 3 previous Olympic Winter Games altogether. So huge success here in Italy. I think how well they're doing on the field of play, and the medals of course contributes, but we're so happy for our host. In Europe we have speaking with EBU and their members, they're dominating the media landscape in their respective countries and outperforming massively their typical market shares, and this is great news. Just want to highlight one country which is important because it's the next Olympic Winter Games host, France, and France just informed us that they've actually already surpassed a reach of more than 50 million people. So I think I understand that this is more than Torino even, so great audiences for France, important because this is the future host of the Olympic Winter Games, so we're very thrilled that the French are embracing the Games, and it's good news for the French Alps Games coming next. In the United States, as of Monday, on NBC, the audience was averaging 24.3 million viewers. So this is marking the most watched Winter Games presentation at this point since the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games. Asia, I mentioned Asia earlier, also expectations surpassing their expectation considering the time zone. I'm sure that the great results yesterday in figure skating and the anticipated final day of that figure skating will be huge, also with some Japanese skaters in contention. We also see something which is quite interesting. We like it when non-winter countries get excited about the Winter Games, and we see two markets in particular that have come strong, Australia and Brazil. So the greatest audience ever on the Olympic Winter Games in Brazil. Of course, they have some of the stars, Lucas Pinheiro Braathen, and his first ever gold medal in Olympic Winter Games for Brazil has something to do with that probably. But it's great to see new non-winter country doing well in those games. Also, perhaps unsurprisingly, digital streaming viewership continues to grow. We see some markets that have already exceeded by a large margin the streaming consumption of the entire Beijing 2022 Games. So, for example, on Warner Brothers Discovery reports that this is the best Olympic Winter Game ever streamed on their services, so both HBO Max and Discovery and Discovery Plus. So it's a triple-digit % growth in total hours viewed already, and as we say, still counting because those numbers have been reported as of a couple of days ago. Same in the US. Peacock reported 11.2 minutes of Milano-Cortina 2026 content have been streamed, this is up 62% from all, and I'm saying all prior Winter Games combined. So amazing results also there. These numbers are not a happy coincidence. Of course, this is the result of a very concerted and deliberate effort that we have undertaken together with our media rights holders. We have worked with them not only, of course, on the coverage and we know that those numbers have been strong, but we have also really partnered with them together with the world's largest social media platform to making sure that those games go just beyond the sport. And then we have also worked with the athletes, making sure that the athletes who are our best ambassadors have more opportunities to engage with their followers. We have, since Paris 2024, worked on our social media guidelines that enable the athletes to post a lot more content on their own platforms natively. And we have also worked with the largest social media platforms in the world to making sure that that content actually gets surfaced more easily, which raises the profile of the athletes. Also with our media rights holder and our own efforts, we have been running since Paris 2024 something very successful, which was the creator programs. So we have over 100 creators that are around the different venues creating content. This is content that is targeted at a newer, younger audience, and we collaborate also with the big social media platforms to making sure that that content actually attracts attention and actually creates and generates curiosity to the sports that then generates the audience across the different media rights holders. We've also continued engaging with, I would say, non-traditional platforms. So we have a very successful, dedicated experience on the Brookhaven game for those who are active on Brookhaven or have children that are active on Roblox. And that experience is quite amazing. We have already had over 1.3 billion visits from around the world. So this is about 60 times the number of visits that we had in Paris. So great experience there. If you want to test the Brookhavens, I encourage you to go and test it. We also, some of you may have seen also partners, because those releases were just before the games, a number of series in collaboration with Netflix. This is all about creating a moment where, building up the audience and getting to know the athletes before going into the game, so you can have a little bit of the story behind how they came about to getting qualified to the game. So those are very, very successful, too. Also important to mention our worldwide Olympic partners. I'm sure you've seen across the different venues here in Milano. Also, I said I was in Cortina. They're really, through their activation, bringing a very festive atmosphere for fans around the city, and they absolutely contribute to making sure that we feel the Olympic vibe across the city. But not only, it's more than just a marketing relationship, it's also a partnership, and we absolutely love working with them because they contribute to our delivery of the game. So through their products, their services, their technology, and their expertise, they're a key delivery partner for us for those games. And finally, I will also say that maybe the best testament for how successful those games are and the engagement around those games is the success of the licensing programs. I'm sure that, I hope that you have been able to find your way to either the Megastore or any of the licensing merchandise store across the different venues, and this is really a testament. The engagement and how excited people are at purchasing those items is a clear testament to the success of the game. That's it for me. We'll hand it over to Yannis for his update. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anne-Sophie. Buongiorno a tutti. Good morning, dear colleagues. This very satisfactory view that Anne-Sophie presented is also reflected on what happens on the digital front. And I would like to share with you, on behalf of a very wide team within the IOC, a team of OCS, the team of digital engagement and marketing, ITMS, but also colleagues from other departments that work in this synergistic digital direction. Some of them are here with me, and I want to thank them for their work. So let's have a look at what happens on the digital front, starting with the Olympic platforms. First of all, with the Olympics.com platform, the IOC direct-to-consumer platform that, as you know, carries during these days also the website of the Games. As of the Games of Tokyo, the IOC has started delivering that, assisting the organizing committees to have much wider engagement with the audience. So what we see there is that as of yesterday, this Games platform has exceeded 1 million unique users. This needs to be compared with what happened in Beijing when we had, for the total duration of the Games, 68 million unique users, and we still have 5 days to go. So it is for sure that this will be a record-breaking number. Important to note that this platform is not the same in each part of the world. If you access the platform in Italy, it's one thing. There's a focus in Italy. If you access in the United States, it's different. If you access in Japan, it's different. It's a massive work of localization, of offering to the audience what is relevant to them. And just to give you an idea about what it takes, so far this platform has published 8,400 articles, more than 8,600 videos, and we have conducted more than 900 interviews with athletes. It's an athlete-centric effort across the whole world. Also, one important factor that we have launched in this platform for the first time is the Olympic GPT. This is a wider effort that's being led by our colleagues of the technology department of the IOC, Milano-Cortina and his team, and we are offering for the first time on the platform the capacity to viewers to have a conversational agent that can provide any information, any accurate and quality control information around the games and around the Olympic movement. And we see very long periods of engagement on that. So people who enter actually spend a lot of time conversing with Olympic GPT. The app of the games has been during this month the first app in terms of downloads in more than 75 countries around the world. Let's move on a little bit to social media, where there is another big success. There we see that the postings of our social media teams have achieved more than 9 billion engagements. This is already double the number of what was achieved in Beijing. It is important to note that most of this consumption happens on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. Actually, on YouTube, I think we have record numbers in the history of the Olympics, which means also that this audience skews younger, important for the future of our movement. One interesting factor also is the different campaigns that the team has done during these games, which are a little bit different in terms of tone of voice compared to what we were doing in the past. I'm sure that you will all have seen the pasta campaign that the team has prepared, which has gone viral and which is the culprit for us needing quite a bit of diet after these games, through the overconsumption of Olympic pasta. The fashion showcase, where we engaged with national Olympic teams and presented their uniforms in this city, which is a city of fashion, and also in general celebrating these games in Italian style. However, the digital engagement does not stop on the core IOC platforms. It extends, and that's the important thing, on the wider Olympic movement, starting, of course, with the athletes. So here we see that we have a record-breaking 1.4 billion engagements from postings from the athletes themselves. This is very important, as beyond, a few big stars, this enables athletes to really become far more prominent around the world. We know that, unfortunately, many countries discovered national heroes during the Olympic Games. But it's great that the Games will help all these athletes to have and keep a following through their digital platforms further down beyond the Games. More than 12 million social media posts have been posted already about these Games around the world, which is a record-breaking number for a Winter Olympic Games. I said, and I think this is what Anne-Sophie also highlighted, that the efforts that we're now doing in terms of engagement are movement-wide. It's not just the IOC, it's not the organizing committee, it's not OBS, it's not OCS. We embrace and we work synergistically with all our partners. First, of course, with the media rights holders, and Anne-Sophie described what the success there is. But I would like to particularly highlight the digital collaboration that we have with all our top partners. Here in Milano-Cortina, there are 27 individual digital campaigns that have been launched with our partners. Let me just mention, the victory selfie of Samsung. This takes the collaboration of OBS, of OCS, of DM, and Samsung themselves to be carried out. And I think this is great because it creates so much more impact in terms of engagement of the audience. I would like to mention the P&G Athletes for Good program, Deloitte's First Effect, Deloitte is the new technology integrator for these games. They have done a brilliant job, not just in supporting the technology of the games, but also engaging with audiences. Omega's record alerts, and so many others. The same is the case also with international federations and national Olympic committees that I think are doing an effort on the digital front, unlike what happened in any previous games, with the support from our teams, from the IOC, in terms of content and details. Anne-Sophie mentioned about the importance of the presence of digital creators that we have had in these games. Just to mention that a few of these images like Snoop Dogg's or like Sung Hoon's have gone viral, at least in several parts of the world. Anne-Sophie brought to you some numbers from the media rights holders, numbers from traditional broadcast and from streaming. I presented to you a few key numbers on digital. For those who believe that it's one or the other, that it's a transition from broadcast to digital and so on, this is not the Olympic story. The Olympic story is that the whole Olympics are growing. So all different platforms of distributing content and enjoying and consuming content are growing in parallel. Why? Because the Olympic brand is a universal brand, also universal in terms of demographics. It is one of the few remaining audience aggregators in the world for people who are from 6, 7 years old all the way to their 90s or 100s. And of course, this engagement happens through different media. The big success, I think, of Milano-Cortina is the fact that across all media, the numbers have been record-breaking. It's not just a transition, it's that all boats have been lifted. Thank you for your attention. Very happy to take any questions with Anne-Sophie.
Okay, thank you very much. As I said, any questions on anything, but let's try to start with broadcasting and digital and marketing. Yes, Reuters' first question.
Carlos Como from Reuters. Question for you, Mark, but a question first for Anne-Sophie. In Paris in 2024, you mentioned about the need to open up opportunities for stakeholders, especially sponsors. We've seen sort of a similar situation here as in Paris with a bit more visibility. Your program for LA, how dependent is that on the review of the top program that will come in June, and whether that is sufficient time to carve out a completely new strategy for product placement or stakeholder visibility at the Games? And one for Mark, if I may. Ukrainians have said they're being discriminated against with a decision by the IPC to allow the athletes in. Russian athletes here at the Games have said this is a fair decision. Do you feel that the IOC has discriminated against Ukraine? Thank you very much.
I go first, and maybe I go first, and I first have to correct one information I think that I said earlier when I was speaking about Peacock. I was reporting on 11.2 number, and those are billions. This is billions of minutes, and I think I probably said millions, but I just wanted to correct that. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to correct that number for Peacock. On your question, yes, we continue to open up those opportunities for partners. You probably would have seen that there are different things that we have implemented for these games. So, for example, at figure skating, you've seen that we've worked extensively with our partner P&G to organically introduce the presence of puffs at the Kiss and Cry, which is a natural place where there is so much drama in those areas. So we continue to do those. To look with every one of our partners, what are the opportunities for those partners to be organically be present and supporting us in those games. Another one is we used to have, we have introduced the Athletes Moment, I think with Yanis in Tokyo 2020. Our new partner TCL really embraced that moment and wanted to partner with us to make that moment even more special. And I think we had about 1,000 athletes who registered to be appearing on that moment with their families in case they were going to medal. So this is a huge success, and those are the type of things that we want to continue doing. Same with Allianz. Also, we've worked with them. You've probably seen, in the lead up to the competition, the areas where the athletes are preparing. So we call it the readiness zone. Wanted to provide those athletes with an opportunity to feel that there is a dressing up of those areas and they feel special in those areas. And we work also with Allianz in order to do that. And we're continuing to work with every partners to do that. So about the future, yes, you know that our new president, Kirsty Coventry, has launched a Fit for the Future consultation, and those are the type of things that we will be discussing as part of this consultation in the future, and with really always in mind that we want to continue to actually celebrate and be proud of what our partners are doing with us, while at the same time, I would say, be mindful of the legacy of those games and the uniqueness of the presentation of those games.
Carlos, just to...
Mark, if I may, just a second, because I think I failed also with the number. If I have said 1 million unique users for the platform, is 100 million users against 68 million users in... sorry, with all these zeros and numbers towards the end of the games, it gets
can be complex
very
sometimes.
heavy.
Carlos, just unusually, I'm going to ask you for clarification. Was it discrimination?
Discrimination of the Ukrainian team here.
In general?
In general, yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I don't want to kind of rehearse all the answers I've given before. It's based on the Olympic Charter, and the interpretation of the Olympic Charter can obviously always be contested, but very simply put, it is part of the Olympic Charter that the athletes' expression rules, which were, as you know, agreed by the athletes, led actually by our president when she was chair of the Athletes Commission. They were rules that the athletes themselves asked for. I think there were 3,500 athletes were asked, all of the Athlete Commission. So it's something that came from them. So that we asked for that specific moment, that field of play moment, to be free of any messages. We have no problem. Our problem is not with the message, it was simply with the place. And we ask everyone to try to respect that field of play moment and to keep it free from messaging. And we ask that for any country, from any athlete, from anywhere in the world. Of course, as with all rules, there are always differences of interpretation, but our job is to steer that difficult course and to try to interpret that rule so that all athletes are given a level playing field. Yeah, let's move across from here. Yeah.
Rachel Axon with Sports Business Journal. A couple questions for Anne-Sophie on two different fronts. To go back to top, during the session, Christophe de Kepper had mentioned there's a number of active discussions around potentially new partners. What is the state of where those are and when you guys could add new ones, and the difficulty in maybe signing that length of contracts when the process and what this program looks like is subject to change in the very near future. And then you also touched on the creators, right? And the both you, the NBC, other broadcasters, NOCs have them. What did it take to work through the permissions, changes, and access, everyone being comfortable with content being presented in a different way without infringing upon the rights that they had paid for?
Thank you. On your first questions, we do have active conversation, and this consultation is really something that is actually helping us in those conversations, because it demonstrates that there's a willingness to continue to be relevant and continue to evolve the program. It has been a very dynamic program. It's it's I would say the most successful sports marketing program in the world, and it needs to continue to evolve. We have partners that are here for almost 100 years, and we have partners that by the last time we were here in Italy were not even companies that were created. So it shows the agility of the program. So we continue to having those conversations, and I think the partners trust the process that is ongoing in that consultation. And the best, I would say, the best testament to that is that we have signed up in 2025 only. We brought in a new partner, TCL, but we've also renewed with AB InBev, who was a partner that had just arrived a year before for the Paris Games. So they had such a great experience in Paris that they immediately wanted to continue for a longer term. So we also renewed that agreement in 2025. And also we renewed the relationship with Allianz also until 2032 in the course of 2025. Good conversations, and this consultation is only making us stronger in the market. Sorry. And your creator conversation. So it is about finding the right balance between, finding ways to engage with the content, and we're working very deliberately with our media rights holders who actually have the right to the field of play. So it will be their decision whether the creators that they want to partner with have access or not to the field of play competition. That's their choice, but we encourage this to happen because we believe that having an interaction on social media actually raises the curiosity of people to then watch the game. So this is like a win-win. And on our side, we're very mindful of the rights of our media rights holders. So the creators that we work with will work, around the field of play in order creating that buzz that then translates into watching the game. So it's I would say it's a very win-win situation because everybody recognizes that buzz on social media actually drives the interest into watching the game. So it's a virtuous circle.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Graham Dunbar from the AP. A question, one for each, if I can. On top sponsors, just put in a historical context. The Louis Vuitton film in the opening ceremony seems to have been a bit of a before and after moment in terms of what might be possible in the future. Once upon a time, 11 top sponsors seemed to be the norm. Now it feels like, if not a problem, so fewer than you'd want. Had you wanted to get an extra sponsor signed for these Winter Games? And is the dynamic discussion about how the products can be included sort of been a complication in that? And for Yanis, with the Swiss TV commentators clearly tried to thread a needle by citing the athlete's social media post back at him. Are you happy and comfortable with how RTS have dealt with the issue? And does this point to, with many more countries and more broadcasters involved in Los Angeles, you're going to be some interesting discussions with the rights holders ahead of Los Angeles because of this case?
On the top program, as I said earlier, I think it's really the most successful marketing program, sports marketing program around the world, and we've seen it over the years evolve. We don't have a fixed number of partners. I think we want to make sure that we bring the companies that actually help. Are aligned with our values, but also that help us deliver great games. And we will be always looking for those type of partnerships around the globe that complement actually that program. It's also a balance that we have to be found with also the number of partners that the organizing committees or the categories that the organizing committees can then have in their program, and also the National Olympic Committee. So it's really a balance to be found, and we feel really, I would say, in a good place with respect to the conversation that we're having at the moment. So, yeah.
Just in the historical context, did the Louis Vuitton film in the opening ceremony in Paris, did that change things, that like open the door to so many more possibilities for the
No,
sports?
we're always looking to evolve the program. So it is not a question of whether there's a before and after. It's we're constantly looking for new ways to making sure that we remain relevant. The marketing world is evolving, and so do we need to evolve also to making sure that we provide those opportunities, and we also feel proud about how we recognize our partners while maintaining, I would say, the uniqueness of how the games are being viewed on TV. So it's a question of finding that balance, but we constantly continue to evolve that, and we will continue to do this in the future. And this consultation, Fit for the Future, will actually help us doing that.
Regarding the commentary on RTS, as you understand, I would probably be the last person to have a strong opinion on what should or should not be said. My job and our job is to provide the opportunities to broadcasters and commentators to have sufficient information to cover in the best possible way the competition and the sports. I believe that RTS themselves have removed from their platform the specific video. This has been their choice. The Olympic Games is the largest congregation of media in the world, and they operate on the basis of having, the largest variety of voices. But I think, as Mark has been repeating many times in this forum, there's always a place and a time for everything. It's the choice of everyone, but there is a place and a time for any comment to be made. But if you expect from us to be dictating to the commentators what they say or they don't say, we are not the ones.
I mean, we were asked that question yesterday, just to say, as Yanis said, once again, we're not going to give a running commentary on commentaries by anyone, including the journalists here. You wouldn't expect us to give a commentary on what you say every day. It wouldn't be correct of us to do so, Phil.
Philip Barker, just to pick up on the whole marketing thing, I've noticed that there seems to be a distinct difference. You go to ice hockey, they mention Coca-Cola. You go to speed skating, it's much more discreet. One, is there a sliding scale from different sports that you're considering, what you allow and how it's done? And two, are you taking note of some of the worst case scenarios? I'm thinking things like the IPL, where it's very, very in your face. We've even got in ITV Rugby in Britain, you've got split screens now during the match and so forth. Are you sort of monitoring all these and going, this will not happen, we will sort of draw up rules that will take account of those things?
What we're trying to achieve is making sure that we portray, and we proudly portray, our partners in each of the venues in a way that is unique to us. So we're not comparing to anybody. We have to find our own way to making sure that we continue to evolve, and we're very, very proud that our partners have stepped up in order for each of the venues to provide this also kind of entertainment for the fans that are within the venues. And we use the equipment of each of the venues in order to do that during break of play or pause or just before the event starts in the sports presentation. So we will continue to do that, and it's about finding our own way. And this is why I'm really looking forward to this consultation that is coming, that is ongoing actually, so that we can actually put the cursor where we feel is the best place to put it for the Olympic Games and not looking at anybody else.
Okay, I'm going to do one question over here from Süddeutsche, I think, and then another German question over here. So
Thank you, Mark. Question. I actually wanted to pick up on what you said regarding expressions on the field of play, that it's not about content, it's about the expression, and that it applies to all athletes, all teams. Now, the Norwegian curlers, I think yesterday they showcased specific pants to honor their former skipper, who was deceased, I think. It was retro outfit from what they've used previously, but they said afterwards it was specifically in order to commemorate him. Is that in line with the guidelines, and if not, were they approached in some way?
will have to come back to you afterwards because I don't know the specific case. We have a whole process. We have a sounding board where people come. So earlier in the games, someone said they wanted to wear an armband and we allowed it. Someone had a word on their shoes, German athlete, I think, and again, that was allowed. So these things are raised to us and we discuss them and we try to allow as much as we can those kind of personal expressions where they are involving a colleague and where it's not on the field of play. But yeah, okay, let's have ZDF over here, I think.
Yannick Schneider from ZDF. On the Casey Wasserman situation again, that is a situation since, I would say, prior to the Olympics. A lot of his athletes and actors resigned from his agency. He will sell his agency, and yesterday the mayor of LA publicly called for actions. What needs possibly to change from the IOC position to take a stronger position on that name?
Again, another one that I've answered 2 or 3 times. I'll give you roughly the same answer, but if that's okay, our position hasn't really changed that much. I mean, obviously, this is primarily a matter for the board of LA 2028. As you know, they had an independent lawyer-led investigation. Up to them to draw their conclusions at this stage. I understand there are many conversations ongoing there. So at this time, I think we will continue to concentrate on delivering these games and see how things may or may not develop.
And more in general about politics in the US, we saw a lot of individual athletes here speaking out about the political situation in the USA against the government. We have the US ice hockey team that is possibly more on the side of the Republicans to a higher percentage. Is the IOC also, with views in 2 years with LA, coming up a bit scared that it's too much about politics inside of the athletes when we talk about the games in LA coming up?
Well, as you know, we provide and we accept, I wouldn't say we necessarily encourage, but we provide many avenues for athletes to express all sorts of views. US views, African views, Middle Eastern views, wherever they can speak in the mixed zone, they can speak on social media, they can speak in the press conference, they can speak to you in interviews. So we wouldn't presume to intervene and tell them what to say or not to say. But what I would say is that we have a very, very good relationship with the administration of the upcoming games, which is always a great position to be in. If you are having to deliver games in a country, it's good to have a supportive administration from whatever country we happen to be in. Yeah, Reuters TV, I think.
A couple of questions, if I may. And Sophie, there's been at least, I think, one instance in the games of an athlete reported to have done some ambush marketing by showing her underwear at a speed skater. I wondered if you're comfortable with ambush marketing or there's anything that you can do about it with regard to athletes. And then for Mark and Luca, is there a statement a statement or response to the story about the Russian volunteer carrying the Ukrainian sign during the opening ceremony? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I am. I very little to say. A Russian volunteer, we don't closely vet all of our volunteers, but a Russian volunteer carrying a sign, I don't think for me is not an issue. Maybe tell me differently.
Luca, the Ukrainians say they weren't told about it. Is that true?
Ritardo della traduzione. Devi considerare che alla cerimonia sono stati coinvolti oltre 1200 volontari che hanno operato e lavorato per renderla unica. Non siamo ovviamente al corrente di ogni singola storia, quindi sì, confermo che l'abbiamo anche noi scoperto leggendo le sue dichiarazioni.
Ambush marketing question.
Speed skating. Sorry, I'm not an expert on speed skating, but what I understand is that this is normal practice for speed skaters when they finish their race, because the suit, I think, is very tight, and they've just performed. So from what I understand, this is normal practice, and this is not a case of ambush.
Okay, I think we're coming elegantly to an end. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much to our guests today. I won't have anyone to trail.
Did we mention about Real Madrid last night?
About?
Real Madrid?
I didn't
because
hear
people are
I didn't hear that,
immersed
Yannis.
in the game.
Sorry, going to have to cut you off now.
Yeah, they have lost track of what happens in the world. Okay, so we beat Benfica 1-0 in Lisbon.
Thank you very much, everybody. See you all tomorrow. We're looking at legacy tomorrow, legacy of the games. Not with Real Madrid.